Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Right, so that's the version for the toddlers or for the younger ones in your house. How are you all doing? Thank you so much for the engagement, for the support, love, subscriptions and everything on my YouTube channel, for the congratulatory messages, for every single engagement. I see them and I appreciate them. Thank you so much. So as requested, some people requested for some of, when I did the last video about my driving test, some people requested for more of driving videos, and I felt like, okay, what else can I do since I cannot really be on the road? Just manage that with me, okay? So since I cannot be on the road to teach you some things because I'm not licensed to do that, however, there are some things that I can sit down to say, and one of them is, or some of them, or let me say what I'm going to do now is to film about show me, tell me questions. Show me, tell me questions. These are the questions that you will be asked during your driving test. You cannot escape it, okay? So essentially they are called vehicle safety questions. They want to be sure that when things change along the road, you know how to navigate them safely, without changing direction, without another person being in trouble, without you swerving your hand and all of that. They are trying to check if you know about your car, for your car to safely get to where it's going, for everything to work safely. Like I said in the first video, it's a game of safety, okay? Your driving test is to show your examiner that you are safe, you're a safe driver, the people in your car are safe, the people on the road are safe. Basically, that is what they want to check. So I have curated a couple of questions called show me, tell me questions. I've curated them so that we can discuss them. And before you even go to the car, okay, maybe because when you get to the driving test center, okay, you will enter into their office, okay? You will leave your car outside. You will see a place where you are asked to park, and then you will go into their office. I hope that his voice is more louder than mine. So you will go into their office and sit down until you are called. Like I said, don't forget to go with your provisional driving license. So when you are called, they will check some things with you, ask you to sign, okay? I'm saying all of this so that you are prepared ahead. You have like a visual representation of what is going to happen when you are going for your practical test, okay? So they will check, and then the examiner will collect your provisional driving license, check some things and return it back to you, and then he will say, okay, let's go. You can lead the way. So by the time you go outside, the first thing is you will check at a certain distance, the car plate number, okay? They will ask you to stand in a particular place and read the car plate number of maybe another car at a certain distance. So if you have eye issues, if you need to use recommended glasses, please, before this day, make sure you settle all of that. See is their number one priority. So if you cannot see ahead, it means that a lot of things can happen, or you cannot anticipate ahead, and that is not safe for you and other road users. So as much as possible, if you think your eyes are not really, if you think your visibility is not really good, that you cannot see at least 2 car lengths ahead, when 2 cars are put together, you cannot see the one in front, just go and settle that before you go for your driving test, okay? So I think that is it. Then usually when you get to the car, now after they have certified that your sight is good, now let's go to the car. Sometimes while you are going to the car, they might start asking you questions about your everyday living. What do you do for a living? Do you have a family? If you are not here today, what would you have done at home? Some of them can be so friendly to ask questions, and some of them don't bother to ask questions, okay? Roll, please. So usually they will say, I think this one you might not be able to escape it, because they will say you should open your bonnet. So when they say you should open your bonnet, they want to see if you are able to open your bonnet. I think one of the issues I had is I used in one of my exams, I used one of my examiner's car, and I used my examiner's car, or no, my instructor's car, and I could not figure out how to open the bonnet. Okay, so you need to know the car you are using, how to open the bonnet. So once you are able to open the bonnet, you will secure it. You will put it in a secure position. Some of the car bonnets might not need you to pull up like the stand. There is like a particular stand that you will draw out to put your bonnet in a position. Some of them might not need. However, some of them might need you to do that. So ensure that you know the way the car operation is. So if you need to like put a stand in, put it in and secure it in place, secure the bonnet in place, because you'll not be allowed to hold it while you are showing them. Okay, so open the bonnet and secure it. And then one of the things you'll be asked to say is that how do you know if your engine oil is at the sufficient level? So how do you know that your engine oil, there are three main things that they will ask you to show them, or three popular things that are usually asked when they tell you to open your car bonnet. Okay, so one of them is, and usually they are fluid, so one of them is your engine oil. How do you know that it's sufficient? Some of you, I know that like I said in the last video, you've been driving and all of that, but you need to know about that car that you're using on that day. So you pull out the dipstick of the engine oil. The engine oil is usually measured with a dipstick. You see it has like an handle or like a loop where you can put your finger to pull it out. Then you take a cloth. Usually I think these are like, they will tell you to tell them, they will not tell you to necessarily demonstrate. However, prepare to demonstrate just in case. Okay, so you clean the dipstick first and pull it back into the engine oil and then pull it out. So your engine should be between the mark of the engine oil should be between the level of the minimum and the maximum mark. Okay, it should not be higher than the maximum, it should not be lower than the minimum. The next thing is they will ask if, how do you know that there is sufficient engine coolant? Sorry, we have a toddler in the house. Okay, so how would you know that your engine has, or your car has enough engine coolant? Okay, you will point to where you know that the engine coolant is. They want to be sure that you know where it is. You point to it, and then it should be between the minimum and the maximum mark. All right, so we've talked about the engine oil, we've talked about the engine coolant, and the third one is hydraulic brake fluid. So the same thing, they want you to like point to it. Why is this staring at me? They want you to point to it and show them bless you. They want you to point to it and show that you know where the hydraulic brake fluid is. And also the answer is it should be the fluid, it's usually in a transparent container, so it should be between the level of the minimum and the maximum mark. All right, so and for the engine oil, for the engine coolant, and the, in fact, for everything you check in the bonnet, it is advisable that the engine is cool first. Don't open them, especially when the engine is hot. Okay, it can be dangerous to anybody around and even you yourself. Okay, so then they will ask you to close the bonnet. So you pull off, you like lift it a little bit, whatever it is that you use to close your bonnet, close it and make sure it is secure in place. Okay, so the next thing is, I think those are like the very first things you do when you get to your car. So they will ask you to enter the car, and I think one of my examiners have told me to start my engine, like I should point to where I will start my engine. Like, how do you start your car? Okay, it can be it could sound daft, but you'll be surprised that some people don't even know where to point or how to start their car. Some people don't even, that's why I said you should know the car. Some people don't know if it is a key or it's a button. Okay, so yeah, be familiar with the car that you are using. So one of the things, now I'm going to be talking more about tell me questions. Usually these questions, they might ask you why you are still waiting before you move on to start driving, or they might ask you why you are driving. Okay, so they are like things that you will verbalize to be sure that you know about your car. So the first one is, tell me how you check that the brakes are working before starting a journey. So this question is like a very common question, and the answer is that it should not when you start your engine and you press your brake, it should not be slack and it should not be spongy. Okay, your brake should not be too slack and it should not be too hard to press. Okay, and also when you move a little bit of distance, the car should not swerve to one side or should not pull to one side. All right, so that's about that. Then the next one is, tell me where you find information for the recommended tire pressure for this car. Okay, and how the tire pressure should be checked. Okay, check when the tire is cold. Don't check when the tire is hot, like after a long journey or after any journey. Wait until it is cold, and then the tire pressure can be checked with a recommended tire gauge. Okay, and also you can get the information in the car manual, or sometimes, you know, when you open the door of your car, either on the driver's side or the passenger side, that pillar, there is usually like a pillar, a door pillar, where the door rests on. When you close it, you will see the information there about the recommended tire pressure for your car. So the next thing is, tell me how you make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted. Head restraint is that thing at the back of your head, like when you sit on your car and you rest your head, that thing that supports your head, that's your head restraint, and it is there for a purpose, to support your head in case of collision. So how do you know if it is correctly placed? Okay, so the answer is that move it to the back of your head. It should be comfortably at the back of your head as possible, and then it should also be adjusted to the level of your eyes or your hair. So make sure that it is at the back of your head as comfortable. It should not be too into the back of your head, and it should not be too far from it. It should be as comfortable as possible, and then it should be at the level of your eyes or the level of your ears. Okay, I hope you can hear me well, because this is my toddler that we are doing this thing today. Okay, so the next one is, tell me how you check the tires have sufficient tread depth and the tires are safe when they are on the road, or they are safe to use on the road. So check with the tread depth gauge, and the tread depth should be checked, between the three. There's usually like these three lines across the tire. Make sure that you check between them and check across every part of the tire, all around the tire. And the minimum tread depth is 1.6 mm, 1.6 millimeters. It should not be lower than that. So that should be your tire tread depth. And how do you know that your tires are also safe on the road? Make sure that your tires have no cuts or bulges. Check all around the tire. Make sure that there is no cut or bulges on them. Next question is, how do you know that your headlights or your tail lights are working? You don't need to exit your car. You can, if they ask you to exit your car, fine, but usually they will tell you don't need to exit your car. So you don't need you put your ignition on, and then you put your there is a sign for the headlights. Okay, you put it on, and then you go around the car to check. You just verbalize it, and then the same thing with your tail light as well. Put your or you can have somebody to check for you. So the next question is, how do you know your ABS is faulty? So when you put your, sorry, my toddler is with us. So when you put your lights, when you put your ignition on, or when you start your car, usually all the lights on your dashboard will come up, including the ABS. However, they should go off immediately. Okay, so if your ABS light is still on, or it just pops up while you are driving, that means that it is faulty and it needs to be checked as soon as possible. Okay, the next one is how to know if your direction indicators are working. That's your the one to show if you are going to the left or you are going to the right. Put your ignition on as well. And going to the right, it's usually on the left side of the steering, so you flip it up okay, to show that you are going to the left, to the right, or you flip it to your left to show that you are going to your left. And the lights should blink on both sides of the car, on the front and on the back side of the car. Okay, so that's the way you check, and you can ask somebody to check for you. The hazard light, you put on your hazard light, and the 4 of them should work automatically together, so you can go down and check to be sure that the 4 lights are working. Okay, how to know, the next question is how to know the power assisted steering is working before starting a journey. Tell me how you would know that your power assisted steering is working before starting a journey. The same thing, your power is your steering. Okay, so you put your car on, and then you can just move it a little bit, and the steering must not be too slack, and it must not be too hard. Okay, it should be easy to control. And some of the cars that we have now, that's just a bonus anyways. This information is just a bonus. Some of the cars that we have now, you can adjust the height of the steering, so be sure that you are comfortable with your seat and with the level at which the steering is. Okay, then the next question is, how do you switch on your rear fog light, and when do you switch them off? This question, I would have loved to demonstrate it, but I would say ask your instructor, okay, or Google it, or check YouTube and then demonstrate it with the car you want to use to be sure that you can use it. And then when do you put your rear fog light on? It is when the visibility is less than 100 meters. Okay, that is when you will put it on. And how do you know that it is on? It will show on your dashboard that your rear fog light, especially for the rear, is on. So usually maybe in thick snow, or maybe when everywhere is so foggy and you cannot see a lot ahead, you put your rear fog lights on to indicate to drivers, especially behind you, that you are there or that you are moving. Okay, so that is the end of like the tell me questions. Now I will go to the show me questions. Show me questions, usually you will do it when you are moving, when you are driving, while you are in motion. Tell me too, they can ask you when you are driving, but usually they want to know how you can coordinate yourself when conditions change on the road, and how you can ensure your own safety and the safety of other people. So I will just start straight up. Usually they will say when it is safe to do so. When it is safe to do so means when it is safe to do so. So sometimes when the instructor is giving an instruction, it might be safe, but before you carry it out, ensure that it is safe to do so. And what does it mean by safe to do so? Make sure that there is nobody around that can be affected by what you want to do. Make sure that there is nobody crossing the road at that time. Make sure it's not at the junction where you are maneuvering, when you are trying to like check for the safety of people around and maneuvering yourself, not when you are reversing. Just ensure that everything around you is safer. That if it is not safe, you can tell your instructor that it is not safe for me to do so at this time. Okay, so and usually they would have seen the reason why you have not, they would have seen the reason why you can't do what they asked you to do. So it's not just you saying it is not safe. Make sure there is actually a reference point for you to say it is not safe. So one of the very common ones is pull off on the left or pull off on the right when it is safe, and move on when it is safe to do so. They want to be sure if you can check around you, before you can alter the state of your speed or the state of your direction. You need to do some checks. Okay, you check your inner mirror, you check your side mirrors to check your blind spots, to be sure that there is no car coming at the back in a way that you are causing them to to brake in a harsh manner, and also to be sure that where you are going to pull off is not at the junction, is not close to its junction, or it is not at the entrance of somebody's house. Okay, so it should not be an entrance and it should not be close to a junction. So if your examiner says that pull up on the left and you are approaching the junction, you are you're obligated to say this is a junction and I will just find a safer place to do that. And if they want you to do another thing, they will let you know. So yeah, So I've explained that. And of course, before you pull off, you check for the safety of where you are going. And then before you move on again, you do your 6-point check. 6-point check is your inner mirror first, okay, and then you check from, usually I like to start from the left, and I think that's like the safest thing to do. Check from the left, your back mirror, the glass at the back, you check that, and then you check the mirror like that is next to you, or that is next to you on your left. You check the did I say mirror? The glass, what's it called? The glass that you roll up and down. You check the back, you check the front, you check the mirror in the front to check your blind spot. Then you check the glass as well. I can't find the name now. The one you roll up and down, you check that one, or the window, you check that one on the right, you check that one on the right as well, on the right at the back, and then you put your indicator on. So that means that you've actually performed a 360 check. Your safety checks, you must do it whenever you are moving off, whenever you are starting, even if it was that, like, usually they will tell you to pull off on the left and then move on when it is safe to do so. So when it is safe is when you have checked all around your car that there is nobody coming on the back, or there is no child or anything, and then you are safe to move on. Okay, so if you are told to move on on your right, you indicate to the right, you do a quick check again, and then you move on. So that's the way it's done. Then the next thing is, when it's safe to do so, wash and clean the front and the rear windscreen. So when it is safe to do so, wash your front windscreen, or they can tell you to wash your back windscreen. Also, these things are like the things you can control with your hands in front. So usually the front windscreen is indicated by a sign that shows, is like this sign, and then it bends this way. But the back windscreen is like a rectangular sign. So the front windscreen is rectangular, but it looks like a bowl with like a semicircle on top of it. So usually you check, and it's usually like the ones that are on the steering, the functionalities on the steering, the ones that are attached to the side. So ensure that, thank you. So ensure that I don't want to like be specific now, maybe on the left or on the right, because we have like different types of cars now. Okay, so make sure you know about that. Then the next question is, show me how to switch on your dipped headlight. Also, this is also one of the functionalities that are attached to the steering. Okay, and when it is safe to do so means when it is safe to do so. I've said that earlier. Then show me how to set the rear demister. We have the front demister and we have the rear demister. Also, the rear demister is usually like the rectangular sign. Also, the front demister and the rear demister. The front demister is just the shape I've also just said. I think usually that one is not on the steering itself. It's just on the dashboard somewhere. So you will see where to press. It's just like a button. You press it, and then you demist your back and your front. So also the next thing is, they can say, tell me how to operate your on. Press the on. Okay, so usually you look around and then you press the on. It can be as simple as that. Okay, make sure you know where your on is, because sometimes it can be in the middle of the steering, sometimes it's on the sides of the middle of the steering. So if you are just pressing the middle and you don't know that it is on the side of the middle, you just have to be sure of where it is. Okay, then show me how you open and shut the front or back windows. So while you are driving, they might say, can you show me how to turn them down and turn them back on, just in case probably you are driving and then maybe it becomes too hot, or you want fresh air, something like that. How do you turn it off and how do you turn it on? They want you to do it while you are driving. Okay, So those are like the show me tell me questions that I can remember at the moment. But tips for the show me questions, especially the ones that you do while you carry out while you're driving, is one of them is don't rush to carry out these instructions. Immediately you are told, don't go and do it immediately. Like your instructor said, or what, like your examiner said, when it is safe to do so. So check and make sure there is safety before you carry them out. Ensure that you are not doing them while you are trying to like concentrate on other things, or when the condition of the road has changed from the time the question was asked. Okay, another thing is do it when it's safe. I've just said that. Then the next thing is try not to look on the control so that you don't lose your view of what's happening on the road. So that's why I said know your car inside out, so that you're not trying to look at the road, you know, while you are trying to do these things. Because by the time you are looking at for instance, to roll up the glass in front and the back, usually, especially for automatic cars, or for newer set of cars, you know, the control is on the driver's side. You can press a button and then the mirrors will come up and they will come down. So if you are trying to look at it to press it, you might lose a glance of what is happening on the road, and you might be knocking somebody out. So usually I advise, I mean, for the other ones, maybe you have to, especially for the demisters, you might have to look at what is on the dashboard to know where to press. But it's a glance, like it's a quick glance. Just have a look and then already you know where it is. That's why I said know about the car. So already you know where it is. So just have a quick glance and press it, and that is it. Alright, so I think I've done justice to the show me tell me questions. In case you have passed your tests, or you are an instructor and you know some of other questions that I've not talked about, please put it in the comment section for people. So I would advise people to also go into the comment section and have a look at what people are saying to help yourself. And yes, this is everything I want to share about show me tell me questions. Thank you very much for watching till this time, and like, share and comment. Okay, leave a comment. Even if you think everything is okay, just leave a thumbs up, or you know, well done, just anything sweet and beautiful to encourage me. And subscribe if you have not. And thank you so much to everybody who subscribed with the last video. Like there was a particular person that said, oh, you just get a subscribe, and there was even somebody that was telling me no matter how many times you did it, the fact that you passed alone is a testimony. Well done. That actually gladdens my heart. Thank you so much everyone for your encouragement, and I'm sure the encouragement you are giving to me is also helping some other people. Don't be discouraged if you have. And another thing you should know that is that if you don't know how to do any of this show me tell me questions, it's actually a fault that can be picked up. So I think usually it's a minor fault, but maybe if it is more than 2, it becomes a major fault. So please ensure that you know the functionality of your car. Like I said, it's a game of safety. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the road. Bye. Say bye. Bye.